Hey guys, it is Abdul from IndiePolitics.org and of course here at 93 WIBC. Thank you very much for being with us. Always good to have you here and as part of the program. Lots of stuff to get to, but first, one bit of big news. It is official. I will be the moderator of the first televised U.S. Senate debate on April 30th, done and hosted by the Indiana Debate Commission. They approached me about a week ago to see if I would be the moderator of that Republican primary Senate debate, and I told them, yeah, sure, television. And so they asked me to do it, and I will be moderating that debate. That is a debate. Right now, though, it is a debate between Mike Braun, the Jasper businessman, and Luke Messer. The Rokita people, the Rokita campaign manager declined Todd Rokita's participation, and the debate commission and I myself are both hoping that Todd Rokita changes his mind and perspective and joins the debate, because we think that the best way, for Hoosiers to make an informed decision, about who they want to vote, who they want to represent them in the U.S. Senate is when you have all three candidates on stage. So that's one little bit of news that just came out actually in the last, since after 3 o'clock, in the last couple hours or so. Score one for the good guys. Like I said, big news item this week was, of course, the issue of tariffs. You had President Donald Trump imposing that 25% tariff on steel from some steel producing countries, as well as 10% on aluminum. Now, this is interesting because this has a major impact on Indiana. The data shows that Indiana is actually the largest producer of steel in the country. And so when we talk about things like tariffs and tariffs on steel, that directly goes to Indiana. Now, exactly what the impact will be right now is still mixed, because I am not a big fan of tariffs. I believe tariffs are basically a tax increase. I'm not a fan when governments levy tariffs, because all it does is drive up the cost of goods. And when you drive up the cost of goods, that means fewer people can afford them, because prices have to be raised or fewer people lose their jobs. Now, some of my friends who are supporters of tariffs say, hey, we need these to protect the American industry. American workers have been getting the short end of the stick. But the thing that people need to remember is most of our manufacturing jobs are not lost due to tariffs. They are lost due to automation. You are more than likely, I've said this once, and I will say this 8 million times more. If I said it once, I said it 1 million times. If you want to, you're more likely to lose your job to a machine than to somebody from Mexico. It is just that simple. And also, it comes to an issue of low-skilled, low-wage labor. And is that really the best use of our people's skills and abilities? I mean, there's this theory in economics, we almost sort of call it, for lack of a better term, it's sort of like labor specialization, is that labor goes where labor is done best in a certain type of way. This is why I don't change my own oil, nor do I cut my own grass, because those would be really bad ideas for somebody like me to do. I do practice law, because guess what? That is my area of specialty. I do not expect my mechanic to practice law. My mechanic, and God knows my wife, do not expect me to change a tire or change my own oil. So when we have these trade discussions, and particularly look at things like tariffs, at the end of the day, they really don't do us a whole lot of good. And if you want to go after the bad actors, which the folks say is China, then that's fine. Then you just target the Chinese. You don't target the Brazilians, because the Brazilians are part of that 25% tariff increase. Well, guess what? In order for Brazil to melt the steel, they need coal. Guess where they get coal from? They get coal from us. We're a large exporter of coal. We export a lot of coal to Brazil to use the heat, to melt the steel that they send back to us. So we got to think about this stuff, folks, sometimes. That's just all I'm saying as we go forward. But like I said, it has been, like I said, a busy week. Here. Don't forget, next week we got the legislature is wrapping up. Oh, by the way, speaking of tariffs, we'll be talking about that on the Saturday show this weekend at 1 o'clock here on the Saturday here on 93 WIBC. I'm out next week actually playing lawyer. Yay. Gonna make some real money, at least make my wife happy. But then my good friend Rob Kendall will be filling in for me on next Saturday's show. But like I said, big news item, very happy to be asked and accepted the invitation by the Indiana Debate Commission to moderate the only televised debate statewide on April 30th from 7 until 8. Now keep up to speed with more details about that. Hey, it has been Abdul Online. Thank you all very much. You guys have yourselves a good weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.